Alright, so should I maybe put a Pokemon up front that still needs to, like, be out in battle more? Like Flaffy, for example. Now Umbreon is higher level than Espeon, so, like, do that maybe. Because, yeah, Flaffy could still open the door to its heart a little bit more, right? So maybe I should be doing that. I wouldn't mind using a Flaffy / Ampharos. Like, I was a big fan of Ampharos in Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. It appeared open from this side. I wouldn't mind. I don't know. Hi. Okay, so it is like the mainline game. Too bad for you, this elevator's off limits. Where they see you and they come up and challenge you. Chaser Kai would like to battle. I love how it transitions to battle without, like, you know, any lag or anything like that there. Chaser Kai sent out Fanfi and Trapinch. Like, it loads this new area seamlessly. Wow, Trapinch is very shiny and polished looking there. Like, not polished in terms of well fleshed out, polished in terms of someone went up and polished that Trapinch, is what it looks like, I mean. Metamorphism refers to two different structures being beside each other. The number of characters in these games are super buff upper bodies combined with skinny legs. Okay, I got you then. I guess I will, I should probably swap out Flaffy, huh? Maybe I will switch into Croconaw then. In that case, this seems like the place to use Surf, you know? Yeah, I just need a playthrough of your original copy of Emerald the other week. You had so much fun, you really want to find your OG Fire Res, you can play that, but you only found Emerald because it was Game Boy Advance being found on, so I don't know where the other games could be. Just take down. Ah, you missed! Also, I'm basically fighting Johto Johnny right now with, like, his level 60 Fanfi. My goodness. Raising that, Fanfi up to super high levels without evolving it. Because he's crazy. What a madman. I don't know, sure. And do this. Go ahead and do that. I definitely wouldn't mind playing some more classic Pokemon games on the channel one day when I have the time. I mean, we're playing some classic Pokemon on the channel right now with this, technically. You know, is the case. But just generally. So, you know, in terms of mainline Pokemon games, that's assuming that things like Legends and this count as mainline. In terms of mainline Pokemon games that we've played on the channel, apart from, you know, the ones that have released ever since becoming a content creator, the only ones that I've done have been Platinum, and now Colosseum is in progress. This didn't happen, is the case. But as the years go on, and I do like more playthroughs over time, wouldn't mind, you know, sneaking in some time for other things, no matter what, this elevator is off limits. But anyone who's been around the channel for a while knows that, you know, the GameCube's pretty crazy, and it's not as easy as, yeah, the file. Hyper mode. Okay. Knows that it's not as simple as just being like, oh, I want to cover this game, so we're gonna hop into it, like, right now. You know? Heck, I don't even think that I can, with the wake of, you know, the new games coming out right around the corner. Like, it's after midnight right now, so it's Monday. So, you know, in 4 days, this coming up Friday is when Fire Emblem Engage releases. I'm gonna have my hands full with that. We're still in the middle of Persona and Assassin's Creed Origins that I'm looking into upgrading my PC to play because of the whole mess with that. So now that's something that I'm balancing as well. There's post-game stuff with Pokemon Scarlet, but, you know, I'm taking that pretty chill at this point. There's if I end up doing it, the SpongeBob Cosmic Shake coming out at the end of the month. I might also, before the end of the month, end up doing, like, the SpongeBob movie game trilogy with my friendos I've been planning to do it with for a while. And then next month, there's Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, and there's Octopath Traveler 2. What do you think you're doing here? And Octopath Traveler 2 is gonna take me forever, but Kirby's Dreamland, I looked up how long it roughly takes to beat the original Kirby's Dreamland, and the interrupts told me about 6.5 hours, so it's like, okay, that's manageable. I can add that to the schedule and get it done in like 2 streams, or maybe 1 really long one, and then we're through, you know, is the case. So that's not a big deal. But ones like Fire Emblem Engage, Octopath Traveler 2, potentially 4 SpongeBob games, because there's 3 movie games I might play with friendos, and then Cosmic Shake if I end up doing that. It's like, oh! And in addition to the stuff we've already got going on. It's like, yeah, that's sketchy, isn't it? My goodness. So, yeah, I don't think that I'll be starting. I do have, like, a mental list in mind of, like, these are generally the already released games that I want to cover sometime this year. Whenever I get the chance. Pokémon Colosseum was like the exception. Gosh dang it. Gosh darn you. Like, for the foreseeable future, maybe while I'm working on, like, big editing projects as well, like the Scarlet and Violet video essay and stuff like that, I might just have games that we start on the channel be completely new releases and not start any already released games until things ease up a bit. Exceptions being to this and the SpongeBob movie games, if I'm able to get together with friendos and finally get that done, you know? As the case. Those would be the only exceptions there. But otherwise, see through my other obligations before considering starting any of the other already released games that I want to cover this year. Like, there are some big ones I want to cover this year, like the Metal Gear Solid titles, for example. I've been looking forward to trying those out for a while. That's on the mental list right there. Bonk. Well, yeah, let's see. You're thinking of buying a copy of PMD Rescue Team off of eBay? Red Rescue Team off of eBay, because it just finished DX. It'd be cool to compare them. I mean, if you want to get Red Rescue Team for the sake of, like, owning a copy of the original, then it's like, that's completely understandable. But if it's just for the sake of comparing them, there are definitely easier ways to, you know, play it and, experience that, you know, without having to spend however much it ends up, oh gosh dang you, you're always so pissed off. Without, spending however much it ends up being for something like that at this point. I don't even own a copy of Red Rescue. I don't own any Game Boy Advance games, apart from that one time that I briefly owned Emerald and got rid of it there. I wish I owned some Game Boy Advance games, but I do not. Unfortunately, those are not on my shelf. Alright. Well, this battle went in a little bit of an unexpected direction. Fluffy! There we go. Fluffy's bar is almost done now. Heard a neat. I am confusion. Take that, silly burb. Get on out of here. There goes Talo. There it goes. Yeah, I do very much like the normal battle theme in this game. After hearing it every single battle over and over, it is starting to get a little bit repetitive. I do have to say, though. Alright. But, like, the general theme or whatever that comes up here, the general tune, that. Like, this is the part of the theme that's a real slapper, in my opinion. And then when it starts, like, the next set of notes while still playing this in the background, it's like, that's so good there. There's so many, like, games and just, like, music in general and media that will be like, oh, we want more stuff going on in our music? Let's just lay on a heavy beat and call it a day. There, more stuff is happening in the theme now. It's just like a lazy way out. But actually coming up with, like, a cool, simple tune that you're doing on repeat there that plays on its own at first and then leads into something new that takes over the foreground while the thing in the background still works perfectly. It's like, so good. And that's cool how Hoodoo's jumping from foot to foot. I can finally do Thundershock. Cool. Like, that's so cool. So it starts out with just the tune. So it starts out with just that. And then after a little bit of that, it becomes just the background as the new notes come in. That's so cool. I like that. I like it when music themes do something like that. You know? I do wish that the theme went on a little bit longer before it looped around. Because after hearing it every single battle now, it is starting to get repetitive. But generally, it's a pretty darn cool tune. Oh yeah, there's technically that as well. I'm no match, I must level up some more. Oh yeah, so now I can interact with the thing. Sweet! Yeah, let's see here. For sure, but you can't emulate games right now because your computer is broken and RT is like 20 bucks on eBay. I was emulating Game Boy Advance games on my phone in like junior high school, so that's been an option for a long time technically. You just need to know like the right sites to go to and right things to download essentially, which has been a great many years since I've looked into that kind of thing myself. But you didn't hear it from me! Just in case the Nintendo ninjas are listening on in, you know. Whoops. You can also get them on a 3DS. I was just showing during the, was it a Persona stream the other day? No, or was it Assassin's Creed Origins? I don't remember. But some game, I think it was Persona actually, where we were talking about playing classic games, and I showed how packed full of games my new 3DS is. I don't know if those games are sold on the eShop or not, but you know, they're on my 3DS through other means. We can say. My Pokemon are looking for the chance to go wild. Booyah! But yeah, let's see here. But you also only like to emulate ROM hacks and try to own physical games if you can. If you can just Just something about playing a game on its original hardware is so fun for you. Yeah, that is cool when it's possible. It's just that, you know, it's really tricky to be able to track down, you know, the right things nowadays. Yeah, an Apple phone is a lot harder to emulate on an Apple phone from what you've seen and tried. Yeah, that's kind of what, like, I mean, it worked pretty fine for me. It's just that sometimes the app would go down and I'd lose my save data, so I'd have to, like, back up my save data on my computer from time to time. But, and that was how I ended up playing the first half of Sacred Stones over and over again. And I would swear I would try to back up my save files, but for some reason it was all weird and not working with Sacred Stones. It was weird. It works for other games just fine, though. I don't know what it was with that. Yeah, Game Boy Advance games are not on the 3DS eShop, though you expect that Game Boy Advance emulators can work well on the 3DS, huh? Because Game Boy Advance games... Well, where did I put my 3DS? There it is. While Game Boy Advance games... While I've put, like, a whole bunch of them onto my 3DS, they're a little bit sketchy. Like, some of them work, some don't. I haven't done, like, rigorous testing on this thing, because I haven't, you know, wanted to play on this thing rigorously for quite some time. But if I ever want to play any specific Game Boy Advance game on this, like, I can probably figure out getting it set up. The only one that I know for sure is set up is Sacred Stones. So if I ever want to play Sacred Stones, not on the channel, I can just do it from my pocket there. I might honestly just switch over to Croconaut here is what I'm thinking. And Sacred Stones is real fun. So from like the first half of it that I've done over and over again, at least I can say. Use Confusion. Kerslamo! Fire Emblem, the Sacred Stones. So maybe one day I'll finally beat this game. First time I ever beat it will probably be like emulating it on the channel. Is what will likely be the case. But there's something so charming about like the sprite art, the sprite work, and menus and everything about the Game Boy Advanced Fire Emblem games. I loved playing Blazing Sword. I loved playing the first half of, you know, Sacred Stones. I never played Fire Emblem 6 though. Never been able to find an emulator or ROMs on your iPhone. I wonder if like the old link that I used to use is still like a site that works. I also haven't really tested a whole lot of these Game Boy Advance games. I think I tried the other Fire Emblem ones and they didn't quite work. I know I tried booting up Pokemon Emerald during that one Stream in a Stream, and it didn't work. But let's see if other things, let's boot up some other things and see if they work out of curiosity. Yeah, Espeon is not the Pokemon for this battle, holy crap. Yeah, this is, not great here. Let's just switch into Skip Bloom or something like that. This one work? It's a long black screen. At least I know Sacred Stones work. So if ever, you know, I'm struggling to sleep in the night and I want something to play, like, while, I always used to love having, like, my Nintendo DS or my 3DS by my bedside growing up. Just, like, play a little bit on that. Just, like, play some Sacred Stones. That'd be fun. Hey, look! The original Mario Luigi Superstar Saga works. We played the 3DS version of that, just last year. Alright, that one works. Maybe it was just Pokemon Emerald that wasn't working. Maybe I was just saying that these, that the Game Boy Advance games are iffy purely because Emerald wasn't booting up when I tried to do that out of curiosity on the freaking Persona stream or whatever the heck. But yeah. Also, I guess since now we're going through this, for anyone who hasn't seen my my 3DS, how decked out it is here. The amount of games that I have on my 3DS is well, let's just say I have a few here. Oh, if I can get rid of that glare. Let's just say I have a few. That whole top row is Pokemon things, evidently there. There's a lot of gaps in there with things I wanted to fill, but I had like trouble getting working and stuff. And here's like the Game Boy Advance section. Plus Explorers of Time and Darkness, just because I have like Explorers of Sky in like the far left there anyway. So it's like, let's just slap in like Explorers of Time and Darkness over there since, you know, they don't take up a massive ton of space. I think, whoops, this is the wrong layout here. I think in the Persona stream I said I have like a 128 gigabyte micro SD card in this thing. I think I was wrong. I think this is actually a 256 gigabyte card to hold all this stuff. And I even went so far as to include things like with Fire Emblem Fates. There's a decent bit of gameplay differences and difference in available content with the Japanese version. So in addition to the NA version of Fire Emblem Fates, I also have the Japanese version, and you can transfer save data between them freely, and it'll work just fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with putting, like, an English save data into the Japanese version. It'll play just fine, interestingly enough. I guess I'll do Shadow Rush here. So, I basically, you know, retrofitted my 3DS here into the ultimate handheld gaming device. I did that with my old original 3DS as well. Like, this is the new 3DS XL. But I did that with my original 3DS as well that I lent to my little cousin. That I don't know how much interest he's had in playing like the bazillion games I put on there, but if he ever decides to, it's filled with like not quite as many games as this, but very close. But very close indeed. And there are a lot of things on here that I would love to cover on the channel one day. You know, like even when it comes to Pokemon. Like the Pokemon Ranger games, for example. One day I would love to cover the Pokemon Ranger trilogy. I think I beat Shadows of Almia? I think that was the only one of them that I actually beat back when. I don't think I ever owned Guardian Signs. And I think I probably sold off Shadows of Almia later. One of the really big ones. I don't know when we're going to cover this, but this is like absolutely, I don't know if you can see the text clearly. Pokemon Conquest. Like, I'm an actual mad lad that 100%ed Pokemon Conquest back when. I have like 100+ hours in that game from back when. I wonder if I still have my old save data. It might be on my DS Lite that barely works. So that might well be. Oh, don't look like I've gone wild enough, but I'll let you off with it this time. Alright, yeah, lots of battles. Abnormality detected, target locked on. So, you know, I might not use this system for a long time, considering, you know, almost all my gaming that's done nowadays is, you know, playing it on the channel like this and on this monitor, whether it's a console thing or whether it's, you know, or whether it's something on my PC like this. Had a second 3S you were gonna hack, but it got stolen, oh no. Yeah, I'm definitely very glad that I've done what I've done to my 3S, because even if I never play it, because like I was saying there, you know, almost all my gaming nowadays is streaming stuff. The tiny smidge of gaming that I do that isn't streaming stuff is either if I'm playing with a friend or if I'm grinding in some game for the channel. Basically, is what it is. I don't really know the experience of just chilling playing games on my own anymore, because I figure, why would I play a game on my own when I can make progress on a series on this channel? So if the day ever comes that I want to take like some gaming out and about somewhere, I have my choices here. I have a whole lot of choices. I have this decked out with about every game that I can imagine I want to play from the 3DS library, from the DS library, and from the Game Boy Advance library. Speaking of, I wonder if I should test some more of these Game Boy Advance games. Let's try booting up Metroid Fusion. Let's see if that works. I enjoyed playing Metroid Fusion on the channel. That was actually a fun game. I really enjoyed the fact that with Metroid Dread coming out, I decided to get into the Metroid series. That was a good time. I look forward to playing Metroid Prime 2 on the channel here in the near future. Heck, I think I already have a layout set up for it with GameCube Ratio A here. Yeah, I basically, well, this is my layout that I used for Metroid Prime 1 anyway. I can just use the same thing for Metroid Prime 2. I don't know, man. Maybe I will. Let's see here. I'm Confusion, and then Shadow Rush, sure. Maybe it's just Pokemon Emerald. Metroid Fusion seems to work just fine. It seems like, look at me! I can be Samosa through the space. I really hope that Nintendo Ninjas never tune into something like this. I mean, you know, it's technically just fine as long as you own the games, and you know, all the 3DS games that are on here, I can say have been dumped. Is the case. Now what are them Nintendo Ninjas gonna do? Metroid Zero Mission? Yes. We played through, leading up to Dread, we played every single 2D Metroid game in, like, story order. So, like, the most recent version of every Metroid game. So if there was a remake of any game, that was the version we played rather than the original. So we played Metroid Zero Mission as the first Metroid game that I played all the way to, like, beating, since I'd played a little smidge of Metroid way back when, but never beaten anything. So Metroid Zero Mission, you could say, was my very first Metroid game. Was that last year, or was that the year before? When did Metroid Dread come out? It was the year leading up to Metroid Dread. Whatever year that was at this point. My goodness, time is flying by. So we played Metroid Zero Mission, and then we played Metroid Samus Returns, and then we played Super Metroid, and then we played Fusion, and then we played Dread. And then we played Metroid Prime later. And then we'll play Metroid Prime 2 sometime this year. And Prime Hunters. You're like a bug Pokemon drawn to a candle. I'm going with these Pokemon. So the next Metroid game that we'll cover on the channel will be Prime Hunters. Because that'll be like the story order of the Prime games. It'll go like Prime, Prime Hunters, Prime 2, Prime 3. And the other things that have the Prime label are Prime Hunters, Prime Pinball, and Prime Federation Force. So I'll probably just do like, you know, Prime 1, which you already did, then Prime Hunters, then Prime 2, then Prime Pinball, then Prime 3, and then maybe Federation Force if I'm feeling spicy. I haven't heard good things about it, but that could also just be because people were pissed off that it wasn't the Metroid game that they wanted to see, maybe. Yeah, Dread came out about 15 months ago. Okay, so it was So it was 2020 then, in that case. So, yeah, so 2 years ago, we did, like, those 5 Metroid games for, like, the whole timeline and story and stuff. And then this last year, we did Metroid Prime, the first game. And then this year, we're gonna do Prime Hunters and then Prime 2. So those are also games on my mental list of already released games that we're gonna play sometime. But only after I've wrapped up my other obligations, like the Scarlet and Violet video essay, the other games that we're playing here. And all that stuff there. Alright, you howl there. Alright, so Prime Fusion works just fine. So why was Emerald all weird that one time I tried to boot up? What happens if I try to boot up Pokemon Sapphire version, for example? Does that work? Let's find out. Let's find out here. I wonder if it would ever be possible for me to, you know, play like the Game Boy Advance games on this console here and communicate to Colosseum on my PC. Like, there's probably no way. Like, it's probably unlikely. But if that were a possibility, that'd be hella cool. Like, that'd be so cool. It'd be such convenient gaming. Like, go play Colosseum on your PC at home, and then, you know, have Game Boy Advance games just on 3DS here and communicate there. I don't think it's gonna work. It's just a white screen. It's the same thing that happened with me with Emerald. Maybe it just doesn't like the Generation 3 mainline Pokemon games, but every other Game Boy Advance game works or something. I'm so confused. I'm very confused about that. Maybe there's something weird with them. But hey, at least my other Game Boy Advance games seem to work. At least there's that. And I wouldn't mind covering things like the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games on the channel one day, but it's not gonna be for a long time because we have so many other obligations. Heck, I didn't even think that we were gonna play like Pokemon Colosseum on this channel for a long time. Like, I figured that this was one of those games that was on the mental list of like, we'll do it eventually, but it wasn't gonna be for a long time. But here we are doing it out of nowhere, like, because of the Scarlet and Violet playthrough, honestly. The main reason why we're doing it. And hey, here we are. But it does go to show that, like, stuff on my mental list of, to do eventually does get done eventually. But oftentimes at maybe unpredictable times, you know? Isn't it that in principle you can transfer Pokemon all the way from Colosseum up to the Switch games, even if there would not be much compelling reason to do so? Yeah. Might not be much reason to do so, but it could be pretty neat. I do wonder if that is something that, you know, would be possible for me to do with, you know, custom firmware hardware. Like, if that's something that I can do with, like, my emulated PC games to communicate with this somehow. Yeah, that's just staying on a white screen. It just really doesn't like the Game Boy Advance mainline Pokemon games. At least Sapphire and Emerald, for some reason. I don't know why. So I can go ahead and use Mega Drain on the Wooper. What happens if I try to boot up, like, Fire Red, for example? What happens with that? Let's find out. Let's test out my, decked out new 3DS while in the middle of this, since, you know, battles take a little while anyway as we sit through the animations. Hi, Jess. You know, yoink! Your energy is mine. Your soul is mine. Alright, well, here's a white screen. Is it actually gonna load up? Guess we'll find out. I have technically played all the way through to the end of Fire Red before. Also on emulator on my phone in junior high school. Hey, my beloved Pokemon! Yeah, we'll get lots of experience here and stuff. Alright, so, who, wow, my beloved Pokemon are all beat up. Who still needs, like, their anger bar down or whatever the heck? Summary, you still do a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, Flaffy's almost done. Noctowl's done. Crocodile's done. That's the case. Alright, are these basically the equivalent of chests? Yep. Found a Great Ball, there are 5 of them. Oh, cool. Look at you. Squeezy! Yeah, I think it's pretty silly that your partner has collision. Personally. So I already battled you. So maybe I'll go heal and save again now? Yeah, it just doesn't boot up, it just stays on a white screen. I'm confused. I'm quite confusion. Anyway, I guess I'll turn off my 3DS now. Well, I guess Game Boy Advance games work if they're not the Pokemon ones for some reason. Weird. If we ever cover the Pokemon Game Boy Advance games on this channel, it'll evidently be on my PC rather than my 3DS here. While I can stream from my 3DS to my PC, it's on 3DS games only for some reason. If I boot up a DS game or a Game Boy Advance game, the streaming software that I have on there just doesn't work. That's weird. And streaming 3DS games isn't in all that great of quality. You know, it's not like garbage awful or anything like that, but it's not as good as a capture card. And I don't even think you can get 3DS capture cards anymore. So everything just gets played on Citra nowadays. Besides, it's like better graphics, and I get like some workarounds if ever I want to use them anyway, like speeding up the game if I feel like things are getting slow, which is always super convenient and nice. I just noticed there was a chest over there. Maybe I'll grab that later. Maybe what I'll do. Yeah, just retrofit a 3DS, easy peasy, with a lot of hours of work. Alright, well, there's more trainers to go. Go and get some, we're getting our engines. Well, I also shut off my 3DS there, being like, oh man, we're probably gonna go up there and face the boss. And I won't be able to chat about that anymore. But it's still more battles where not really much is happening. So let's do some more testing, screw it. Let's figure out what the heck is going on with the Game Boy Advance situation. I think, if I recall, there might have also been some Nintendo DS games that were a little bit sketchy there. I don't know, do that. Take out you, potentially. What other freaking Game Boy Advance game can I go ahead and test here? Did I ever try booting up the other Fire Emblem ones? Let's try booting up Sealed Sword. One that I've never played, that I'll probably play for the first time on this channel. I'm sure it'll be fun, but I keep on hearing that like the hit rates in that game are absolute garbage, from what people tell me. So that'll probably be like a decent bit of pain right there. Whenever we end up getting to that, Skiploom was hit with recoil. Yeah, I guess it's just Pokemon. And I think I was able to install the English patched version because there was never actually an official release of Fire Emblem 6, like in the West, that is. Of course, there was an official release of Fire Emblem 6, but you know, the first localized one was the prequel to Fire Emblem 6, which is so weird that like Roy, whose game is Fire Emblem 6, is in Smash Bros. As like an advertising campaign for Fire Emblem 6, and Fire Emblem 6 wasn't even released in the West. And all these people playing Smash Bros. Melee were gonna be like, what the heck? Who is this character that we're playing as? What's his game? So they released Fire Emblem 7 Blazing Sword international, and just called it Fire Emblem since it was the very first international Fire Emblem game and my first Fire Emblem game. And that was the story of Roy's dad, Ellawood. And you technically get to see Roy at the very end as a kid, as a little tot and stuff. So he's technically in that game. You know. Oh wow, that's so much better, just showing like a hit twice like right there. Instead of like my Diglett Senpai and Scarlet Violet going back and forth and back and forth. That's nice at least there. Alright, sure, let's go ahead and do this. Oh man, now that it's showing like the classes and stuff like that. Oh, will it keep up? Oh no, it's not showing it anymore. Fade out. But that was making me nostalgic for playing Blazing Sword, as it was showing like the sprite work of the classes and them attacking and stuff like that. Whoa, that was weird. Weird interaction with your trainer there. Supersonic. Of course it lands. Punch, punch. Well, whatever. Whatever there. I can have my Shadow Pokemon finish you off and then switch into another Shadow Pokemon to make their gauge go down. That's what we can do here. That sounds fine, right? So, wait. So who still needed to get less Angie? Flaffy slightly. Just Flaffy slightly. We're almost done with like our active ones. It seems like. So I can just do that and then we can Shadow Rush and take a Leva. Is it literally just Pokemon then? What happens if I try booting up like Explorers of Time? Or something like that. Like a Nintendo DS Pokemon one. Oh my gosh, dang it. Splatoon? Yeah, Splatoon's pissed off again. Should just nickname this Skiploom Splatoon. Or something like that. Oh, great. Now you're confused. It's in hyper mode. Oh, good. Oh, goody, goody. Go ahead and Thundershock, I guess. Call! Better call Skiploom. Skiploom! There we go. Now you're all better. Oh, it was thinking there. But it seems like it's working? They had to load up some thingamabobs to get it going. Like, putting other 3DS games onto the system is really easy. Getting DS games to go on there, while you can do it, evidently, it's a little bit more tricky, but it looks like the Nintendo DS, like, Explorers games work. Well, I guess I haven't tested out Explorers of Sky, but I assume Explorers of Sky works then. Let's try Red Rescue Team. Let's try booting that up. I should have that there, dropped in the dirt. You want to experience, like, Red Rescue Team? just borrow my 3DS. I only lost because I didn't have Shadow Pokemon this time. So is it just the mainline games, or is it let's see here. Let's boot up Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. Let's boot it up. Let's see if it works. If my console just really doesn't like any Game Boy Advance Pokemon game, or what the heck is going on there. Spheal! Look at him! What a happy guy. I like how he's kind of like tapping on the side like that. Well, I've got a long black screen. Oh, no, it's going. It seems like it's going. Warning, health and safety. It's a Pokemon company. It just doesn't like the mainline games, I think. I don't know why, but I think it just doesn't like the mainline games for some reason. Yeah. Red Rescue Team works. It's just not the mainline games. I don't know why. Oh, I can't skip it, like, initially. Helper going out. I've never actually played Red Rescue Team. I played Blue Rescue Team, so basically the same game. But I never actually played Red Rescue Team. I wonder how it handles where you put, like, health and stuff like that. I wonder how it handles its UI. Because, you know, it was separate screens for the Nintendo DS version. So, like, the Nintendo DS version, Blue Rescue Team, is just better because, you know, you've got more screens to work with and stuff. But I do wonder how Red Rescue Team handle itself, because I never played it. I've never played it there. I played Blue Rescue Team DX. So it's just the mainline games that don't seem to work on my 3DS. It's so weird. Also, is this not super effective here? I wasn't paying attention. Does, like, ice resist grass or something like that? So I'm confused. I'm quite confusion. I have some weird ones on here too. Like I have, like I even have Mother 3. I don't know if I did manage to successfully slap on an English patched version of Mother 3. Or what the heck is going on there? Let's find out. Because, you know, these are long battles that, you know, may as well be doing some research while we're sitting through things here. Let's find out. Let's find out what does and doesn't work on my 3DS here. I know one of the things I wasn't quite able to get working was the Japanese exclusive DLC content for Fire Emblem Fates within the English copy of the game. Well, I got it sort of working. So that's a technical kind of game-related thing I'm gonna have to figure out at some point. Nope. Maybe it's just this screen that isn't translate. Because that right there is clearly not English. Is the case. Did I, Game Boy player. Nintendo. Do I have a patched version of Mother 3 on, oh, sure. I mean... Wait, there's contests in this game? Pokémon Colosseum has contests? What? Really? Power 60. Like increase the power with friendship. I mean, return might just be better. Helping Hand could be useful in this game, considering this game is nothing but double battles. Reflect could always be handy there. Return might just hit harder there. And we don't have to differentiate between like special attack and physical attack if like the type determines its thingamabob. So let's just hope that you're at high friendship and return might actually be better. I wonder how you relearn moves in this game. Oh sure, stop learning Swift. Oh no, it seems like it is I do have an English version of Mother 3. Now it says new game right there. Neat. I've always wanted to play that game. I played a little bit of it. I played like a couple hours into it way before I was a content creator. Well, not way before, maybe a couple months before. I got busy and never got to continue. One day I'd love to play Earthbound and Mother 3. I don't know if I'd ever played Mother 1. I never hear anything about it. Never hear like anything ever mentioned about it. So admit it, my Pokemon are decent, even though they can't win. What's happening here, huh? Shelves are lined with apparently difficult books. Apparently. Kind of a mess around here, isn't it? What's going on here? Ooh. Yoink. Found one revive. Okay, my first revive. No contest and Colosseum and think the contest move effect are just shown for the sake of players looking to transfer to the Game Boy Advance games. Oh. Interesting then. Pokemon can dance with elegance even in a dump like this. Huh. Interesting. Well, every single Game Boy Advance game I've tested seems to work except for the mainline Pokemon games. I'm very, very confused about that. It's not like I'm gonna be whipping out this 3DS to play any classic Game Boy Advance mainline Pokemon games anytime soon or anything like that, so it's not like it's a big deal. But you know, it'd still be nice to know that they worked. You know, would be nice there. All right, so I can go ahead and do that in that case. One game that I am in debate about what platform we're gonna cover it on when we eventually get to it. I've mentioned earlier how one of the series that we're gonna start this year is Metal Gear Solid. We went through all 3 of the retro Metal Gear games last year. This year we're gonna start Metal Gear Solid, and this year I want to get through at least Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. But if I have time, like I'd like to keep on going past that this year. It just depends on what the game schedule looks like and how busy I end up being and stuff like that. But once we eventually get to Metal Gear Solid 3, there's two potential versions to play. There's the 3DS version, which is the most recent version of the game, or the I'm gonna turn my 3DS off again now, or like the HD collection version on the PS3. And the HD collection version on the PS3 would be better graphics, but the 3DS version would be like more updated and better gameplay as a thing, as like the more recent version by quite a decent few years there. And I have checked like graphics comparisons of the HD collection emulated compared to Citra emulated and slapped into HD. And like the HD collection from the PS3 is better, but not by like a massive, massive ton. Oh, that's a, ooh, I like that Swords Dance animation. But not like by an insane amount. Like it's noticeable, but it's not like, oh, the 3DS version is so ugly, like can't play that version even if it has better gameplay. It's not like that. It's like, no, they're a lot closer than you'd think they'd be. And that was on the regular 3DS. I think that came out in like 2011 or something like that, or 2012, like pretty soon after the release date of the 3DS, I think, was a thing. That was way before the new 3DS was ever a thing. So the fact that they were able to slap it onto there and make it look as good as they did is like, holy crap, that's amazing. You know, from what I've seen. So, yeah. But that'll be something for future me to figure out. And is always so cruelly pitiless, oh well. Honestly, what I might end up doing is I might put it to like a community poll. Is what I might do. Just use the polls channel, just like we did for our pseudo starters in this game, where it's like, what would you rather see, the 3DS or the PS3 version? Would you rather have better graphics or some better gameplay? Which is the higher priority? So who still needs to work on the thingamabob? Just Flaffy a little bit. So that'll get sorted out in no time at all. I could probably just keep Skiploom up there, or we can even no, stop with the summary. We can even go tried and true for a little while. Is what we can do? Sure. My ones that can gain experience for sure right now, as opposed to just experience for later. Now what compels someone like you to come here just for the sake of getting thrashed by me? I'll switch into those other ones at some point, or, you know, if the, like, type matchup calls for it and stuff. Bodybuilder Elodie sent out Cacnea and Tentacool. Okay. It's funny that Tentacool isn't in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but like the new Convergent Evolution thingamabob is. Like, they include both Diglett and Wiglet, like both different things there, but not Tentacool and whatever the name of the new one there is. Just the new one. It's weird. It's kind of strange. So we can go ahead and say this. Go ahead and do some confusion. I'm confusion. Bam! I'm gonna have to do another one of those. Alright, time to nom. And nom. Oh, not even half. Could always potentially get a high damage roll. That might have been a low one, but still probably not gonna be the case. That's a whole lot of bubbles. Feint attack. Please don't do it on Espeon. Please no. Oh man. I love how we had like these names over here set that, again, were decided like only in like the hour leading up to streaming this game, when it was like, oh yeah, I guess you can change nicknames in this game, so I guess people can redeem like name a Pokemon and name them, which is what ended up happening there. But I don't know how far you go in until that happens. I'm just referring to them as Umbreon and Espeon and kind of forgetting that the names are there. Right, frankly. Pull out Croconaw and then, like, for sure take them both out in a hot second. Is what we can do. Sure. We can use that there, whatever the heck thingamabob. The surf and stuff. Wait, I'm also just now realizing. It was said that there wouldn't be, like, much point to, transferring Pokemon from something like this into the modern games. Like, going through all that effort. But I just realized, is there another way that you could get starters in a spicier Pokeball than just a standard thing? Because in the mainline games, you always get your starter Pokemon in like a standard Pokeball. I don't think you can catch them in anything spicier than that. So if it was in theory possible for me to transfer this Croconaw all the way to the modern games, would it then be in a Premier Ball stall, I wonder? I do wonder there. Alright, this will be not very effective against the Cacnea, but it has so low health that it'll go down anyway, right? Nom! Alright, now take them both out. It'll be not very effective against both of them, but they're both at low health, so who cares? You know, bubbles! Like that scene in the SpongeBob movie where they have the bubble party. Alright, surf's up, nerds. Blarg! Water! It's not very effective. It's gonna be not very effective to the other one as well. Does it really? Yeah, it really has that one faint before it plays the surf on the other one. Wow. That's pretty wacky there. Alright. Gives me XP points. Cool. Neat. Game looks really fun, low-key. Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by it so far. I feel like this is like a bit much of battles to be going on here leading up to the boss. But I am generally having fun. And the fact that this entire game is double battles is like intriguing and new and cool, you know? Done in, but how? What blind spot did you exploit? There's another set of stairs. Well, I'm gonna heal up this time. Excuse coming on through here. Alright, thank goodness there's a Healy thing like in here. Thank goodness for that. Oh yeah, there's a lot of trainers. Surely the next floor must be the boss, right? And the boss will be me or B. I'll probably fight me or B and then end the Strim in a Strim, most likely.